children, I am back with yet another class. Possibly we shall finish this chapter more on internet today. If not today, I will finish by all means next class. Few definitions you need to know about this. That is, I am there on page number 174. Page number 174. What is a domain name? What is an IP? IP is short form of Internet Protocol. IP address. And what do you mean by the DNS? Domain name server. I am going to talk about some technicalities. Please sit back, listen to me. Afterwards, go through the textbook. It's going to be very, very easy task for you boys and girls. Quite easy one. Page number 174 or chapter number 8 is called as more on internet. What is a domain name? An internet address or a domain name is equivalent to of your postal address, as I told you in the previous class. What do you mean by postal address? Exactly locating, pinpointly locating your place. City or a town or a village name, every village has got a name or every town has got a name. If it is a town or a city, the city or the town is divided into small pockets, which we call it as area name. For example, we have a Samsung, we have a we call New Bazaar, New Market, then we have a Dikri, we have Naggaon, we have Pachi, we have Balapati. So these are the small pockets. All the small pockets, when you amalgamate together, it becomes a, for example, in Pakyong, there are so many small areas which consist of entire Pakyong, right? What I am trying to tell you is, this, now you live in a place called as Pachi. This person lives in a place called as Naggaon. This person lives in a place called as Bazaar. This person lives in a place called as Dikri. Dikri means the whole area. From the whole area, you can narrow down and tell each area has got few streets. Each street, in every street, each house is numbered. What happens is you can find the each house has been labelled, has been allocated by a municipality or the corporation by a number. Exactly here, domain name is nothing but your postal address of your house. Every area, every house has got their own address. As we have it here, even in the server, it has got its own address. It is the way of your contacts and the customers will find your website on the web. Okay? Therefore, domain name is essentially when creating your website. Whenever we create a website, okay, we have to have a domain name. Your domain name is the key of your internet address. An internet address is composed of, all of you know, www stands for World Wide Web. Any name, that's our first one comes, followed by your domain name. That's your portal, address name. And the domain name followed by the extension. For example, we have Pakyong St. XAVIER'S. Okay, St. XAVIER'S Pakyong.org. That's the domain name we have. Okay, here, what do you mean by a domain name is the internet address of your every internet domain name has got a set of digits. In short, we call it as an address. And URL, as I told you before, Universal Resource Locator or Uniform Resource Locator is a domain name and is more to locate the individual web pages. All web pages of the same website will have a different URLs, but the same domain name. In my website, 10 pages are there. 10 pages are there. Okay, all the web pages will have a, okay, different numbers will be allocated, and all of them under will have a different URLs but the same domain name. Different addresses will be there, but it will have only one domain. It will have only one domain. Okay. Let me talk about the IP addresses. IP stands for what? IP stands for Internet Protocol. What is a protocol? Set of rules, norms, right? So whenever we have certain norms are there, one has to follow this. Every machine on a TCP IP antenna, transfer control protocol / IP internet protocol. Every machine on a TCP IP network has a unique identifying number which is called as an IP address. I'll give you. How do people trace? How do people trace? I'll give you a parallel example so that you'll understand very fast. The then President of India, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, very simplest guy. He had a passion, he had a love for teaching. That gentleman was threatened by Montana. I'm going to bombard you. Tomorrow by this time you will not be alive. You will be bombarded. Somebody gave some wild event. He is there right on top of the northern part of India, which is there, in Delhi, when he was a Rashtrapati, when he was a president then. Somebody from almost rock bottom of our Indian map, near Kanyakumari and Trivandrum, in between, a person went to a internet cafe. He did not use his computer. He had used somebody, he had gone there, rented the computer, and he gave a mail to the president saying that tomorrow by this time he will not be available, he will be bombarded. He will be bombarded, that's all. How did they find out? Immediately a team of people, they started finding out the IP addresses. That's what I want to tell you. What do you mean by IP addresses? Any wrongdoing, need not be wrongdoing for anything. Wherever there is a website, press enter to continue. Or whenever you get the OTP, one-time password. What happens is, wherever there is plus, click here to continue, go. Whenever they ask you, means your IP addresses are being watched by somebody. Right? No wrongdoings. Right? If there are any wrongdoings, it's very, very easy to trace. It's very, very easy to trace. Very, very easy to trace. What I am trying to tell you is this. Very simple. Okay? Very simple. IP addresses means Internet Protocol. Internet Protocol means every user will have a set of numbers that will be monitored by the admin. Right, what I am trying to tell you is this. Every IP addresses can be either of 32-bit long, which is of a older format. These days we have 64-bit, we have 128-bit, we have 128-bit, etc., etc., etc. Right. What I want to tell you is, each IP address is actually a series of 4-digit numbers, 192.168.0.0.0 like this. You will have, okay, similarly, series of 3 digits, 3 digits, 3 digits, 3 digits. Put together 12 digits one can enter. Each website will have a set of IP addresses. While domain names are the words and IP addresses are the numbers associated with the same thing. Domain name is what is called as StXAVIER'S.org. That's the domain name. Okay? But you and I will be able to understand what is StXAVIER'S. Whereas that particular domain will have a series of digits. That's called as IP addresses. Okay? The moment you give StXAVIER'S.org means that particular domain name will have series of digits. Every website will have a set of numbers, set of number. They are known as IP addresses. Now let me tell you about what do you mean by DNS, domain name server. As I told you, what do you mean by a DNS or domain name server? I think I told you in the previous class, the client server technology. What do you mean by client server technologies? Client server technology means one who serves is called a server. One who is there in the receiving end is called as a client. Means all the websites, all the files are there in a server. The moment you type XAVIER'S means that particular file comes from the server to your computer system. The server serves you and you are the recipient. So you are the client. Right? To have XAVIER'S in the server, I need to purchase the domain name. Yearly I need to pay some subscription so that my content will be available in the server. Simple. I'm sure most of you must have seen the ads. Most of you must have seen the ads in the GoDaddy.com. They are the one who gives the service. Means they give this whatever may be your requirement. They reserve some space in the server. Right? Let me tell you about what is domain name server. It is very difficult to keep in mind that IP addresses. As I told you, XAVIER'S.org one can be remembered. But what the number, IP address for that is very, very cumbersome job. Very, very difficult job for us to remember. Okay? That's what exactly this site here. It is very, very difficult to keep in mind the IP addresses of all the websites which we visit or which we develop. Words are easier to remember than the series of digits. This is where the domain name comes into picture. When you visit a website, all you need to know is its URL. What do you mean by URL? Uniform Resource Locator or Universal Resource Locator. You need to know only the name. Okay? Domain name server or the internet's equivalent to a phone book. They maintain a directory of domain names and translate them into IP addresses. For example, do you know telephone directory? I'm sure because these days people hardly use the telephone. What I would say is when I was a student like you, only the landline, some they call landline telephones. When you are a subscriber, you will be given a very thickish book. Around this area, whoever is having a landline, all their names and their numbers will be there. How will I do it? I wanted to find a person's telephone number. If the person is Zagir Hussain, Z. Go to like a dictionary only. Go to a directory, turn around the Z. Check all the names, find the number and talk to them. Exactly, even the server, all the domain names will be there. First go to domain. Once if you get into the domain, from there are some web pages. From the website, you will go to various web pages. Right? Website consists of what? Collection of web pages. Okay. Now, what I want to tell you is domain name server or the internet equivalent to your phone book. They maintain your directory of domain names and translate them into IP addresses. When you type a domain name like .com into your browser, the browser first needs to get the IP addresses of the domain name. As I gave you, domain name, what I will say is facebook.com. That's the domain name. The browser contacts the DNS server. Straight away it goes there, it will contact it will make a query there. It will make a query and locate that particular domain from the server and then fetch it to the end user. Think of the directory services of the IP addresses. I will give you an example. Most of you must have seen this ad where merchant comes, just dial. For example, I want to talk to the Vice President of this country, Mr. Venkaiah Naidu. I want to talk to him. I don't know his number. What happens? Just way I can try. It's called as a middleman. Just dial. Call them. When you call them, what happens is, I wanted to have Vice President of this country whose number I require. Immediately they give you. Immediately they give you. Quite simple. So they provide the services. Service provider they call. Service provider they call. Okay. Now I want to talk about the last concept of this today's is ISP, Internet Service Provider. Page number 175, if you have a look, diagrammatically clearly they explain. What do you mean by ISP, Internet Service Provider? Here in India we have plenty of service providers out there, like BSNL, Vodafone, Airtel, Jio. They give the services, web services. You avail the service and pay them, that's it. Right? ISP, Internet Transfer Control Protocol and Internet Protocol. ISP, Internet Service Provider. Plenty of them these days in the market. They provide the service for which we pay. It's called the service sector. An Internet Service Provider is an organization that provides the services accessing and using the Internet. So, an ISP, an Internet Service Provider, is a company that connects your personal computer or your all the electronic gadgets, okay, to the Internet. Another name for ISP is IAP, Internet Access Provider or Internet Service Provider, matter is same. It's also called as IAP, Internet Service then Internet Access, ACCESS, Internet Service Provider or Internet Access Provider. What do you mean by banking? Sometimes you complain, oh, night time the net is working very fast, data is very slow. Sometimes you say, you look at this and say, a network is not there. What do you mean by that? Daytime, most of us are awake. Plenty of subscribers are using simultaneously. Is it a magic or business in the night time it works? In night time, people they sleep, less users, so the bandwidth is better. Okay? What do you mean by that? I want to explain the term called as bandwidth. The term bandwidth is generally referred to the volume of information per unit of time that transmission medium can handle. What do you mean by transmission medium? You buy a telephone, which is cheap, let's say 2,000 bucks. What happens is, it's supposed to grasp the microwave signal because it may not be that effective. By saying the costly equipments, even if you go in interior places, it can hold the signal. That's why it's a bit costly. What I am trying to tell you is this. Bandwidth is the means, the volume of information per unit that a transmission. What do you mean by transmission is? I receive the signal from the satellite. Okay, I transmit. When I transmit, how good the transmission is, how average the transmission is, how bad the transmission is. This is bad. If the transmission is fast enough, your bandwidth is too good. You can work faster. Right? Like those days we had 2G, which is died is natural death. 3G at times it works. These days, predominantly you are LTE or 4G. So, by the time you go to college, you will have 5G access. What do you mean by that? Fifth generation, fourth generation, third generation, second generation. It's all about the bandwidth. It's all about you will have better connectivity, faster retrieving of information, or faster to upload it, or faster to download it. It's all about the bandwidth. If the bandwidth is good, Okay, so uploading and downloading is faster. Of course, when it is faster, one has to pay for that. One has to, there are public service providers are there, like government entity, like BSNL, okay, MTNL. These are the public. Then who the private partners, like Vodafone, Jio, they are the public-private partnership they are doing. The volume of information per unit of time that the transmission medium can handle is known as a bandwidth. Okay? Bandwidth is always measured in terms of kilobits per second, megabits per second, right? Then gigabits. And the volume is going on. Okay, the more the bandwidth is there, costlier, okay, and faster of transmission of data. Transmission of data means from S place to Y place we can transfer it. Okay, it will be faster, of course, from which one is there. Okay, now what are the devices we use for connecting the network? You see the this class. What did I tell you today? I sum it up today's class by this. I talked about the bandwidth. Okay, faster the bandwidth. Okay, where the volume of information can be transmitted faster. Of course, if there is a faster bandwidth means you have to pay a lot. Then the ISP or IAP, Internet Service Provider or Internet Access Provider. There are some public entities are there, companies are there, like government. There are some private partners are there who give the service, internet service. Okay, we will take about it. Then DNS, Domain Name Server. Then we talked about internet protocols. Then we talked about the domain, right? Domain followed by IP addresses. Then the domain name servers followed by bandwidth, internet service provider, internet access provider. Okay, next class. What are the devices are there to require the network to establish? Okay, you can connect by cable. You can connect by what you call satellite transmission with wire or without wire. We will see in this class. Okay, boys and girls, kindly page number 174, 175, 176. Go through that. Take care of yourself. Have a great day. Bye-bye.